Hey guys, this is Nathan Pennington from RunDreamAchieve.com. Hope you're all having a great week of training. Today's topic, I wanted to discuss how to run a marathon in under 2 hours, 50 minutes. And anybody that's trying to run this fast for the distance is already a highly motivated, driven, committed athlete, because really the faster you're trying to run for this distance, the more that's really going to be required out of you. And as you all know, the marathon requires quite a bit of a combination of both anaerobic and aerobic work, but the faster you're trying to run for this particular distance, the more efficient and more of a focus you need to have on not only stressing your body to the point where you can get that your sub 250 marathon race pace to feel more sustainable and not so aggressive early on, especially in the early miles of the race, early kilometers of the race. You want to make sure that you're able to pick up pace and to sustain pace, especially in the last 10 kilometers of a 42.2 kilometer race. So the pace you need to be able to become very comfortable with is 6 minutes and 29 seconds per mile for 26.2 miles, or 4 minutes and 1 second per kilometer for 42.2 kilometers. And as I talk about in other videos, it's so critical that you're training in such a way that you can make goal race pace feel less taxing on and less fatiguing on your body early on. As you all know, it doesn't matter how fit you are, it's going to hurt in the latter stages of any race, but you want to make sure that you're able to sustain pace and pick up pace, throw a surge in the race when your competition is slowing down, and especially when they get the most tired in the latter stages of the marathon. In order to run a marathon at this particular pace, you better have your head on straight. You had better have done your homework in training, because anybody that's run under 2 hours and 50 minutes is an elite athlete in my opinion. I think once you're under 3 hours, you're really at a point in your preparation and in your capability that very few people around the world are able to achieve. And it's not so much that everybody's capable of doing it, because a large proportion of people around the world that even work hard, that put in the heavy work, that are driven and motivated, don't always still get under the 2 hour and 50 minute barrier. So yes, you do have to have a combination of talent, but you also had better have a far greater amount of work ethic if you want to break 2 hours and 50 minutes for the marathon. In my own experience I eventually ran a 2:19:35 marathon time, but I had several races where I ran in the 250s, where I was trying to improve on my marathon race, and I understand the complexities of trying to run a marathon, 26.2, 40 miles, 42.2 kilometers correctly and efficiently, where you can get to the finish line in record time and you have that confidence of crossing the finish line in a marathon time that you've been dreaming about and that you've been working toward. I think one of the biggest mistakes that marathoners make, that you absolutely need to focus on not making if you want to run under 2 hours and 50 minutes, is do not neglect drinking in the race. Practice hydration in your long runs in training. Again, make those mistakes in training so that when you get to the race, there's nothing you haven't experienced. There's nothing your competition isn't going to be able to throw at you, because you've done it. You've been pushed in training. You've pushed yourself in training. But in terms of breaking 2 hours and 50 minutes, like I said, that's 6:29 mile pace or 4:01 kilometer pace for the entire duration. No breaks in between each one of those reps. So I would focus on getting to a point where you can get your anaerobic threshold pace to around 6:02 to 6 minutes and 8 seconds per mile, or where you can get your kilometer pace closer to around 345 to 350 per K pace in training, and extend the amount of time you're training at that effort, at your anaerobic threshold. When I was training for the marathon, for my own training, I would always focus on getting my tempo runs out to around 15 miles at the longest. Early on when I was setting up my own training, 2 to 3 mile tempos early on was difficult. So don't be in a rush. Don't second guess yourself. Don't doubt yourself when you're early on in your training, because you're not as anaerobically fit. It's going to take time for your body to adapt to the hard training you're doing. And what you're going after is a highly elite, competitive, super fast time. Anyone that runs 2:49:59 or faster for the marathon, like I said, my book is an elite athlete. You have to be very strong mentally, very strong physically to be able to sustain that pace for the entire distance and not slow down. And again, as you guys and gals already know, you may have had this effort. You may have been trying to push for a sub 250 marathon in the past, and maybe you were on pace for 32 kilometers of the race, or the first 15 kilometers of the race, but you started to slow down, or you had a problem either psychologically, physiologically. Maybe you weren't hydrating well enough in the race, and you just weren't taking in enough fluids, and your body just shut down on you. And there is a such thing, we hear about this so-called wall that marathoners hit. I've hit it, but I've also run during my fastest marathons. When I ran 2:19:35 at the 2007 California International Marathon, 2:26:42 at the 2011 Monumental Indianapolis Marathon. Both those races, those were my first and second fastest marathon times I ever ran, and I did not hit a wall in that race. And I'll tell you why. When you're training, okay, at any given time, in most cases, we have about 1,700 to 1,800 calories of glycogen stored in our body at any given time. So when you're racing at race pace, you're burning around 100 to 150 calories per mile. So if you have not trained sufficiently and anaerobically correctly enough, you haven't pushed at paces that were well below 6-minute mile pace, well below 3 minutes and 30-second kilometer pace in training, then you are going to run out of glycogen too soon. Your body, what you want to do is teach the body to race. When you're racing, you want to teach the body to burn fat at race pace rather than carbohydrates. You want to make sure that you have glycogen storage still left in the last 10 kilometers of that marathon race to break 2 hours and 50 minutes. And most of the time, I've made the mistake as well, spent too many miles, too many kilometers in training running too slow, and I was not prepared to run under what was my goal, was 2 hours and 22 minutes. I got frustrated. I was like, I'd run a 2:55 or maybe a 2:35 or 2:36 or 2:32, and I kept slowing. I even had a couple 3:0s, just awful races, for me back in several years ago. And it was mainly a couple big reasons. So I want you guys to keep this in mind when you're trying to go under 2 hours and 50 minutes. Do not sip in the race. Do not sip. You need to drink. When you grab a cup, grab a couple cups and drink the entire contents of that cup. Do not just grab a cup or pass, even worse, pass the aid station and neglect, like thinking that you're going to slow down or your pace is going to slow because you stopped briefly at a aid station to drink. It's better to stop for a few seconds if you need to grab a couple drinks and actually drink down your fluids than to pass those stations up and then pay for it in the latter stages of your race. So again, make sure you're practicing hydration in training. Put water bottles. What I would do when I was training for the marathon was every 3 miles of my long run, I would put a water bottle down on the road. That way, when I was going out, I would practice drinking, and it wasn't just to open it up, take a little sip, and throw it down. I would drink. I would sit there and I would run with that drink in my hand, and I would keep drinking. You need to practice that because you need to know prior to the day of the race how much fluid your body can handle. So you don't want to get in a race, obviously, and you've drunk so much that you have a cramp or something like that. And so drinking as well and not just sipping in the race will guarantee that your body is hydrated well enough during this effort. Because like I said, to break 2 hours and 50 minutes, you got to do a lot of things correctly. You have to train at paces, like I said, that are far faster than a 6-minute and 29-second mile pace or 4:01 kilometer pace. So I talk a lot in other videos and on my training programs, as well as the running courses on RunDreamAchieve.com. Vary up the paces of your long runs. Don't just run easy every single weekend. Yes, if you run easy every weekend, you're going to be very strong aerobically. You're going to build endurance. You are going to be burning fat, but to burn fat at race pace and to conserve carbohydrate, you need to have trained sufficiently long enough and for long periods of time at your anaerobic threshold and for shorter amounts of time at your VO2 max effort. So your maximum oxygen uptake. When you're running so fast, you simply cannot clear the lactic acid. So again, because we can't clear it sufficiently, we can only handle those paces, those sprint paces, for so long before the hydrogen ion component of lactic acid starts to shut down muscle functioning, and it naturally slows us down. So again, you want to stress training at paces that are at your VO2 max once per week. You want to train at longer, extended periods of time at your anaerobic threshold once per week. And you want to do one long run once per week. But you also want to jog, and this is a big tip here, jog on those recovery days. Take it easy. When I ran 2:19:35, I was ready. I had done the heavy work, but I was also jogging on my recovery days, because I learned that for some of the best Ethiopians and Kenyans and best American athletes that I trained with, which a few of them were two-time Olympians in their chosen event, which was the marathon. So I would watch what they did in training, and I just simply duplicated what they were doing. And I think the mental piece of this, if you want to go under 2 hours and 50 minutes, you have to believe in the fact that you can do it. You have to visualize yourself, see yourself getting across the finish line with 2:49:59 on the clock. Close your eyes each day, spend 10 to 15 minutes each day over several months visualizing yourself doing this. You want to see 2:49:59 on the clock. You want to see, close your eyes, see your friends and family, the crowd, see yourself getting across that finish line with that time on the clock. And the mental preparation of your training as you lead into this sub 250 marathon, you cannot neglect this piece. I'm telling you, the faster you want to run, especially under 2 hours and 50 minutes, you had better be strong mentally to do this. Again, there are a lot of talented, hardworking athletes out there that never break 2 hours and 50 minutes. So for you to do it, you have to use leverage. You have to do and study what the athletes that have done this already do. That's one of my best pieces of advice for you. You need, and it doesn't matter what it is, whatever somebody does successfully, they do it successfully because they've done it over a long period of time. This may take you a matter of months to achieve. It may take you over a decade to achieve. So it comes down to how badly you want success and how badly you want to do it. I have running courses and I have training programs on RunDreamAchieve.com specifically for athletes that want to break 2 hours and 50 minutes for the marathon. So I highly recommend checking those out. There are resources there. There's free content there. I understand the complexities and how difficult this particular time is. Like I said, when I see an athlete, I don't care if it's female or male, that's run under 2 hours and 50 minutes, respect to you, because you have to do, like I said, you have to be very mentally on your game in order to break 2 hours and 50 minutes. I think the more you focus on training far below your goal race pace, as well as implementing strategies where you're jogging on recovery days, so you're giving yourself enough time to recover from the hard workouts you're doing. You're mentally rehearsing, you're mentally training. This is what the greatest middle to long distance runners do. They know how powerful the subconscious mind is. I think if you add all these fundamentals in, you're paying attention to your sleep, your hydration, you watch the paces, you in terms of your competition when you're in the race. If somebody's taking off and they're going way too fast too early, let them make that mistake. Focus on your race pace early on. Make a strategy before you start the race. Again, make training the most difficult part of your preparation. Race day is not a day for you to be nervous. It's normal to be a little nervous, but it's not a day for you to feel so uptight and worried. Let your competition, let the runners on the start line feel that way. It's their choice. Your choice should be, okay, I'm confident, I put in the work. There's nothing that the runners around me are going to be able to do that I'm not going to be able to react to. You want to have that confidence. You want to have that belief in yourself that you've done everything right to break 2 hours and 50 minutes. So if you're at or close to 2 hours and 50 minutes, let me know in the comment section below. If you've broken the barrier, let me know. If you're well above 3 hours, maybe you're at 3 hours and 40 minutes, 3 hours and 50 minutes. Let me know where you're at and what's been the biggest issue for you in terms of the marathon distance. Trust me, I understand how you feel. I've had setbacks with this race. It took me many years to get it right. Like I said, I only broke 2:30 twice. I broke 2:20 once. I broke 240 several times, maybe around 10 to 12 times. Ran in the 230s several times, 232, 236, 238. So I understand how difficult sub 250 is. I ran in the 240s. I ran a 255. I ran a 250 once. I ran a 252. So I understand where you guys are coming from. And if there's anything I can help you out with to really master this event, let me know. And again, if you want to take the guesswork out of your training, you want to know exactly what you need to be doing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, check out the go to RunDreamAchieve.com, check out the training programs, check out the running courses. Maybe there's something there for you that you're interested in, that will help you take your running to the next level. That's the goal. I want you guys using leverage. The hardest working athletes don't always get the best results. The smartest working athletes, the athletes that are dangerous to me, are the ones that are using leverage. They know I don't necessarily have to work harder in order to break a 2 hour and 50-minute marathon. What I need to do is I need to work smarter. I need to use leverage. I need to study what the athletes that have already broken 2 hours and 50 minutes are doing. That's what I need to do. So I hope this video was helpful for you all. If you have any other questions or concerns, leave me a comment. If you're brand new to the channel, hit that bell icon and the subscribe button, so when I make a new video, you'll be notified of it. And continued success to all of you, regardless of what you're training for, whether it's the marathon, 5K, the mile. I wish you guys all the best, and I will talk to you all in the next video.